Hello everyone, welcome to this video where we are going to explore some of the terms used in probability. So this is like a quick crash course of probability, okay? So let's zoom in. The probability of a simple combined events, of course, what is probability, right? Probability is the likelihood of something happening, and this something can be, we usually like to use the word event, okay, that is happening in the future. All right, and a random experiment is a process where it involves the chance of generating an outcome, okay. So this is some of the keywords used here. Outcomes. And therefore this probability, right, is essentially a measure or a number that help us to denote the chance of that particular outcome happening. So, the moment if I know the set of all possible outcomes, we usually call it the sample space. And for a particular event, it usually is sum of all that possible outcome that is happening or that may happen. Okay, and we usually use the letter E for event, S for sample space. So when we are going to express probability, right, then you would see that probability, we usually use the letter P. If there's some event which is basically like a scenario that may happen, E, how then do we express probability as a fraction? Well, we could use the number of outcomes in that particular event E, number of outcomes in event E, over the total number of possible outcomes. That means total is very important now. Okay? So how does it look like? Later we will be explaining using some examples. For those who are familiar with Venn diagram, we can use it to visually represent all the outcomes to an event E and all the possible outcomes in this sample space. So for example, in this sample S, where we have a die, how many numbers are there in a die? Very good. It can either be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So the total number of possible outcomes here when we roll a fair die is 6. It can either be 1 or 2 or the number 3 or the number 4 or the number 5 or even the number 6. Only 6. And therefore, let's take a look at the event that may happen. And if we are going to want to find out what is the probability of the scenario or the event where when I roll a fair die, the number is a multiple of 3. So in my mind, right, I need to think how many multiples of 3 now? I will have 3 and 6. And therefore, these two will be the number of possible outcomes where in this case it is multiple of 3. Alright? Which is 2. There's only 2 numbers out of the 6 that is multiples of 3. Okay, so in this case, how do we represent the probability? We must write down P, and what is the event? The probability is about multiples of 3. And therefore, this will be equals to how many multiples of 3? 2 out of 6. Final answer 1/3. Do leave your answer in simplest form. Some other things to take note of probability would be probability usually ranges from 0 to 1. So when it is 0 and when it is 1, what does it represent? So for probability of any event that if you find is equals to 1, then this event is known as a certain event. Means it will happen. Probability of 0 would then be an impossible event that will never happen. Okay? And complementary events are like opposites. So if in this case here, you will see since it is opposite, that means it is not E. The probability of not that event will be 1 minus the probability of the event. Alright. So if you're interested to find out more about probability, do check out some of the examples that I will be releasing in this channel. So if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.